Hi, I'm CQ the Watch Guy, your partner in collecting time. Today I want to cover the Phillips Geneva Sessions Spring 2025 auction. Let's check it out. Hope everybody is having an amazing day today. It's a beautiful Sunday. I got the Hawaiian shirt on, debating if I can go to the pool because Central Florida has been a little bit chilly. Anyways, I hope you guys are having an amazing one. I know I am. If my mic will cooperate with me, let me tighten it up. There we go. All right, so auction season is starting to swing in, and I wanted to go over this Phillips Geneva Sessions Spring 2025 online only auction. As you can see on the little counter there on the side, well, you can't see the whole thing. 2 days, 18 hours, and 25 minutes left on this online auction. Is going to start wrapping up on the 12th, which is a Wednesday of this week. So if you get to see it before then, you got a little bit of a preview. If you got to see it after, I will do a little recap video just to see where these pieces landed in auction. That'd be a little bit shorter, but let's dive in, shall we? Now, auctions are a great place to get watches, especially unique watches, watches you haven't seen before, or maybe you saw in a release many years ago and never thought you'd ever see them in person. Auctions are amazing because the auction houses are curating these pieces, right? They're doing their best to make it an attractive selection of watches to get as many eyes on the lots as possible, and that makes for a really, really good situation where usually most auctions have something unique, something special that you might be interested in. Of course, price point goes up and down depending on the pieces you're looking at, but usually there's something that tickles everybody, something that tickles everyone's fancy in most auctions. This one has 70 lots, went from March 5th to March 12th. How these online auctions work is when they announce the auction, when the week starts, so it started on March 5th, you can go ahead and register and you can start bidding. What happens is on the last day they start closing, and I believe every hour every individual lot is closed. It might be a shorter time, might be 30 minutes or so, but what happens with these online auctions, you'll notice you start seeing bids early, and as you get closer to the last day is when you see the real prices really hammer in. A lot of people are waiting, they don't want to bid too high, so they everybody kind of waits until the last moments of the auction. So you really get to see some interesting things at online auctions. You just create ones to track to see how things are performing. There's always a few modern watches in there like this Patek, then a few of the Rolex we're going to talk about, and that really lets you know what the emotions, the feeling of the secondary market is at the moment. Of course, auctions are a little bit different. Not everybody shops in auctions. There's premiums there. There's taxes. There's all type of different things that go on top. So it's not everyone's favorite place to buy watches. But I think if you can navigate it, you can find some really, really good pieces. All right, let's jump in. They're starting off with a nice little Atmos clock here. These are always fun. I love the more modern versions as well. Really good technology. Yeah, Atmos clocks. They're powered by the changes in atmospheric pressure. That's why they're called Atmos clocks. That's your little nerdy fact of the day. Then we got a little 5320G. This one's going for. Let me get my converter out, so I'm not just I'm not pretending to know what I'm talking about. All right, so 40,000 Swiss francs. So this one is around 45,000 US dollars before all the premiums and everything, which I don't think is a bad price. I like these all the way up to where I like these. I like these all the way up into the mid 50s. That's where you're seeing them right now. Right now, if you were to buy a 5320G retail, it'd have to be the salmon version, and that goes for 101,000. 101,100. So to get this in the 50s, I think is great. You could find these all day on Chrono 24, but I think these are just really good looking watches. Nice annual perpetual calendar, excuse me. How could I make that mistake? Nice perpetual calendar that is just in a clean, really good layout here with the apertures up there. Very legible dial, very readable. Has a nice step down case, step down lugs. Beautiful, beautiful piece. And I think to get these in the mid 50s are really good. You're getting a nice Patek, you're getting a grand complication perpetual calendar under the price of a Nautilus right now. I think that's a really, really good price on the secondary market. Of course, the salmon dial is catching all the steam, all the press and the heat, but I think the cream dials are just beautiful. So let's keep going. You got a RM 1701. This one's a 240 Swiss francs. So is one of those brands I'm watching RMAP, particularly this auction season, just to see how how their secondary market is doing, how their collectors are feeling, and are they excited about certain pieces, which is like a RM1701, relatively rare piece. Keep it going. We have my favorite Daytona. This is a 116509. White gold Daytona with a beautiful blue dial. This one's offered at no reserve. What's the bid? Any current bid on this beauty? Oh, and this one's going for a charity cause as well. So that's awesome. So I love these. These to me, when everybody was up in all over the John Mayer yellow, gold, green dial Daytonas, these are the ones that I pushed my clients towards. White gold, blue dial Daytona. At a time you could get this cheaper than a stainless steel Panda, and these you can find anywhere in the market around mid 40s, sometimes 50s, maybe high 30s if it's like naked, no box, no papers. But look at this watch, beautiful white gold case, really nice deep navy metallic blue dial with those beautiful red accents around the chronograph subdials, and then the red Daytona as well. Really great looking watch. The perfect understated luxury piece if that's something you're looking for. Definitely a piece you should consider on the secondary market. This one, if my technology will work with me, show me the bids. Show me the bids. All right, 38,000. So this is really at market price right now. So this is not one I'd say you should run for, but definitely an interesting piece to check out on the pre-owned market. Then we have this 5935A World Timer. Actually, I think I actually have this pulled up already. No, I'm all over the place. We're not there yet. All right, there you go. So you have this beautiful 5935A. Sorry, just trying to make sure you guys can see what I'm looking at. And these are beautiful. So stainless steel world timer, beautiful salmon dial that just has a lot of depth, a lot of engravings on there, that just gives it really good texture. And I think this is just a beautiful watch. These retail right around 65,000 or so, and they kind of hold in the mid 50s. I think these are just great looking watches, and I expect these to really consistently do well for a long time. Don't think they'll be heavily above retail. There are people who are still asking in the 70s for it, but I love these in the 50s. And I think look at this. This is a great looking watch. You get a few more straps, and it's just a really good piece. So that is going to be a good pickup for somebody. Oh yes, I did want to talk. So this is the craziest estimate I've seen in quite a long time. So this is a Mega Speedmaster Speedmaster Professional Moon Watch. They did in the Moonshine Gold with a beautiful green dial. The estimate here is 7,500 Swiss franc to 15,000 Swiss franc. This watch is a modern release, came out in 2022. This retails for in the 40s. It's insane. Right now, the cheapest one on the market is 28,000, and somebody has in here 20,000. So I don't know, 23, 24,000 is where the current bid is at. It's just insane, that estimate. I just don't know. I understand you want to do a little bit of a lower estimate to kind of entice people to put bids on it, but in no world I was buying it at 7,500 Swiss francs. This is insane. You could just sell. You could buy this watch, sell the bracelet. It would pay for the head. Wear it on a shop. Who cares? It's a free watch at that price. Insane. Estimate. I guess they're doing that just to drum up business. I'm hoping. Nothing here too crazy for me. I do like the Constantin chicken, Louis Aurore pieces. These are fun. Romain Gauthier series. I'm always back and forth. I think it's a great watchmaking, but there's so many great integrated watches out there. I think I put the Laurent Ferrier Sport Auto a little bit above this in my personal book. Still a great watch, 24,000 Swiss francs. I think somebody's gonna get this for a steal. What else do we got here? The usual suspects. The grown, not so usual. These are new. This is the grown fell version of a Mad One, basically, just a little bit lower end entry, more accessible entry model for ground fell pieces. Ground fells are super sold out anyways, so the grown pieces are really just a way for them to give pieces to their community, to people who really enjoyed what they're doing. Interesting to see one up for auction, but that's how things goes all the time. And you have Sprite, Ocean Flex Daytona, nothing, the usual stuff. Let's get into the sexy stuff, what I like to talk about. This beautiful 5070G white gold. They did a really good job putting it on this turquoise strap. Really good job. I love these. These are just legendary watches. So many things to say. How do I start it? It's just a beautiful watch. 42 millimeter, one of the biggest case sizes Patek Philippe made at the time. This came out in 1998. It was one of the first chronograph only watches they made in a 30-year span. Since the 1960s, they didn't have just a and that would be the Tassi Tandi. They didn't have just a chronograph only watch. Then the 5070 came in. This came at a time where all their watches were a little bit smaller. 37 was probably the biggest they had in their catalog, or the majority of their watches were 37 and smaller. So they came out with a 42 millimeter chronograph only watch, which is much less complicated from where their focus was at the time. So they had a lot of big, perpetual calendar chronographs and tourbillons and things like that that were high dollar, $200,000 in 1998. This was much, much less. One of the I think the last one in the Patek family that uses a Lomania-based movement. We're going to talk about that a little bit in a few other watches. The Lomania chronograph has been used in many legendary watches and is viewed as one of the more important chronograph movements out there. So this is one of the last times they used this. Oversized watch, beautiful stepped case. It's a watch that's made in 1998, but it could look like a watch that was born in 65 or 70. Really great vintage aesthetics here, and just a very important watch in the history of Patek Philippe chronographs and Patek Philippe timepieces. This watch in 1998, when it was released, you could say gave them the confidence to keep experimenting with larger watches, more unique pieces, and exploring larger case sizes as well. This performed very well for them, and for many years in my career, this was one of the hottest watches people would search for on the secondary market, and they became very, very scarce. Now they're a little bit more accessible. They're not as high as it once were, as the collectors have kind of broadened what they're collecting right now. So that means you can get these for really, really good values. They do them in white gold, they do them in yellow gold, rose gold. The most rare is platinum blue dial, which goes for around 175,000. This particular one right now, the current bid is at 40,000 Swiss francs. So we'll put it under 50,000 USD, which I don't think is a bad price right now. Do I have my notes here? Right now they're running. White golds are going in the 60s, yellow and rose gold are 70s, 80s. So I think this isn't a bad price at all to jump this. I love this on this turquoise strap, by the way. Keep it on this turquoise strap, do green, do red, do a lot of fun colors. Then we go over to the rose gold, and this is personally the one I'd go for. And look at this thing on a beautiful gray strap as well. Gorgeous watch. A little bit of patina there on the gold. Don't worry about that. You can with some work you can polish that out or wipe that out really, really well. It doesn't even bother me that much. Gives it really good character and age for this piece. It's just gorgeous, clean, classy, horologically relevant, historically horologically relevant. But at the end of the day, it's a good looking watch. Grab this watch. Starting bid 40,000 Swiss francs. Nobody's even put a bid on it. I'm sure this one will get bought for sure, though. Amazing, amazingly important piece for you to check out. All right, let's keep it going. Nice little Chopard LUC minute repeater here on the side, 30,000 Swiss francs right now. This is going to be, somebody's going to steal this as well. Chopard is one of the best independent watchmakers to this day. Do a lot of things in-house. They're very careful, but the materials they use, how things are made, fair trade gold and things like that, they're really, really conscious. Recycle steel in a lot of their pieces too. They're really doing a great job taking care of their business and making sure it's performing in the right way, being conscious of how the money's being made, and giving you quality watches day in, day out, especially when you're looking at the LUC family. So here you have a beautiful stainless steel minute repeater, 30,000 Swiss franc. It's an insane price for what you're getting there. I think anywhere within that estimate is a great, great price for this watch. And just look at this beautiful LUC movement. Oh, and this looks like, is it a piece unique art in time edition? Number 5 of a limited edition of 8 pieces. Look at that. See, this is why I love auctions. You just get pieces that I was never thinking of a Chopard LUC minute repeater. And I don't think, maybe I saw it when it was announced, but I didn't remember this limited edition piece. And I think this is so a cool looking salmon dial minute repeater for the price. For the price, a Daytona is a little bit more expensive right now. APs are more expensive. A lot of time only watches are charging you a lot more than this. And for the price, you get a really beautiful minute repeater with hours and minutes on a sub-seconds. I think that's a great watch to check out. As I said, in auctions, there's just a lot of great pieces there. If you keep your mind open and always just check out these auctions, you can often find a lot of great things to steal, and even great pieces, at all price points. Like this Tudor going to 1,800 Swiss francs. I'm sure this will go up, but you'll see everything mixed up in the auctions. Like this is actually like a perfect example of a 5070G Patek Philippe. Then you have a Tudor bronze in the middle and a Chopard LUC Strike 1 on the right side of it. So anything can appear in auctions, and that's what makes them so fun. These are pretty good. Little Cartier Santos Dumont Le Brazil. It looks like a little special dial there. I like that. 14,000 Swiss franc makes sense. Those light work going for 42,000 Swiss franc. These are performing so good. I remember when they were floating down a little bit, under the 40s for a little bit, and now they're doing consistently well. I would not be surprised to see this ends up in the mid 50s, closer to 60 USD for sure. Then we have a 5131 G by Patek Philippe. Let's just zoom in on this one. We got a lot of watches to go through, and I want to hit the pool already 18 minutes. I want to breeze through what else we have here. This was just, I want to talk about this just because this used to be what people chase after. Classic enamel dial, beautiful depiction of Africa and Asia and Australia here. Just a clean, classy watch. And this was the watch, right? The 5131 series was the watch that people kept sealed. I could tell you story over story of like how legendary and hard these watches were to acquire, and you had to be the very, very good client. This was an application piece, and this was the first piece in my career, at least, where there was just that mystery around it of like, oh my gosh, you have a 5131. How did you get a 5131? What's your spend like? This was the first time that I heard those type of conversations, to be honest with you. And this was just a piece that many, many collectors for a long time used to chase after. Now it's kind of, the collector's eye has broadened, so to speak. So now it's not as sought after as it once was, but still a sought after piece that's holding very well on the auction. This one right now, 60,000 Swiss franc. I wouldn't be surprised if this lands right close to the top end of 100,000 Swiss franc. These are just really fun pieces. If you want one Patek and it wants to be like one Patek where you could go in a room full of like all the big guys who are hemming and hawing and you want to shut them up, get a 5131 and they'll just like be quiet and just stare in the beauty of this beautiful watch. If you want to do it right, get the 5131/1P platinum on the bracelet. Chef's kiss. A perfect watch. A perfect watch. All right, let's keep it going. Little Lane Silverstein chrono here. Speedmaster Moon watch. 11,000 Swiss franc. That looks like a good price so far. Vacheron Constantin Mercator. These are tough because you always want to find the exact map you want, right? And that's always the problem. This particular one is a Portugal dial. So what the real beauty about these watches, it's a beautiful retrograde system here where this is the hours and this is 1 and then this is 0 or 12 and it'll snap back. This is 12 really and it snaps back. And then this is the minutes. So you have the hours and minutes, kind of like when you're doing your compass, is basically that same system of it kind of closing. Not your compass, your section on the map. It kind of closes and that's beautiful. And this one's a really nice one of Portugal. So, somebody who is of Portuguese descent or lives in Portugal, that is the watch for you. And there we go. All right, let's speed through these. Some usual suspects here. This is a beautiful Sodalite Daytona with a diamond dial. These are great. I like it at this price. I love it anywhere in between the estimate there. The trick will be to get a white gold bracelet for this, but you can eventually find that. Yachtmaster Rose Gold, nothing spectacular about that. Little bell over there. So this is what I'm saying about AP. I want to see how they'll perform, right? So we have Royal Oak Tourbillon. I think it's the extra thin 26518 ST. Current bid is 130 Swiss francs right now. These are going for around 300 or so, 311 on Chrono 24. So I'd really be interested to see where this ends up on Wednesday, just as a good market tester to see what's going on. Got a beautiful Vacheron Constantin Harmony dual time, white gold, automatic dual time wristwatch. I also want to talk about this because value, right? They have this between 10 to 20,000 Swiss francs. 2 bids in, it's at 11,000 right now. Not for everybody. right? Not for everybody, but I always talk about you might need like a nice dress watch in your collection. 42, excuse me, wait, I want to say 42. I'm wrong. How big is this watch? 40. It's 40 millimeters, 18 karat white gold. You got a dual timing in your sub dial here, and this lets you know whether it's AM or PM in your sub dial here as well. Clean, classy. If you could get this under 20, I think that's a great watch. Even at 21, 22, white gold, Vacheron Constantine automatic movement, and you got a dual time. It's a clean watch, a clean, classy watch, good little movement back there. But again, just a great value, not for everybody, but if you're somebody who's been peaked about interesting shaped watches and peaked about Vacheron and just want a really great classic piece, there's always good steals to be found. If you're willing to open up that eye, got a 5726A, we'll see what that lands for. Again, that's another market tester for me. Same thing for most of this row. This Laurent Ferrier Gallic Classic Tourbillon is a good pickup as well. Laurent Ferrier is doing really good right now in the secondary market in terms of you're not seeing too many product out there, and the prices are very steady. So the tourbillons are very interesting to me because they're traditional tourbillons in the sense that they're a hidden tourbillon. The tourbillon is on the back of the watch. You're not showing it off, right? So it's, keeping the tradition of the tourbillon is just for the accuracy, not just for the beauty of it, even though it is a very beautiful tourbillon, as you can see. This one I have at 40,000 Swiss franc. I like it all the way up until probably 60,000 US dollars. These would retail right now close to 100, and they kind of trade the different variations of the tourbillons around 70 to 80, depending the variation. This one's nice. I think it's a piece unique. Yeah, special order, possibly special order, with the red 12 up there, red 12 in Roman numerals. Of course, Laurent Ferrier does a lot of piece uniques and special orders. So half of the fun, half of the problem is finding the one that looks how you want it to look and then chasing after it. So if you're somebody who likes that style and aesthetic, I think it's a good price point jump for it, because often when you're looking for this piece again, you're gonna have to wait for another auction to come up, So it's a interesting situation. AP Royal Oak IP. Nice looking piece. Let's see what it does. A lot of these pieces I'm going to come back to, because again, I want to see how they perform, and that's really like a market gauge for me to see how the secondary market's holding up with everything that's going on. Let's talk about this really fun AP. So this is an AP Royal Oak Offshore Perpetual Calendar, full set, box and papers. Let's zoom in on this thing. This is crazy. I love this. I love this so much. So I did a little bit of research. Right now, they're on Chrono. There's only two up there. There's one for 135,000 and one for 146,000. So this is a classic Royal Oak Perpetual Calendar. In the offshore format, there's a few different variations of a perpetual calendar, but you don't often see it rose gold. Oftentimes you see it on the steel on the bracelet or titanium on the bracelet, but you don't really see rose gold on the in this case. A variation on the rubber strap. This is like the perpetual of my dreams. Beyond the Moser Pioneer perpetual, this I would love, and I would wear this every day, especially if I could get it. Let me go back to the pricing. The current bid on this is 48,000 Swiss francs. 48,000 Swiss francs. This is insane. That is 48,000, 55,000 US dollars. Even with the premium and everything at the current moment, you're well under what they're going for on the secondary market. So I like this up until 100. I like this up until 100. I think this is a fun watch. I think it's a watch you're not going to see every day by any means. Extracting your value out of it at the end will be a little bit harder, but I think you get so much enjoyment out of it, especially if you like good, bigger watches and you love complicated watches. This is the perfect mix of everything, especially if you could get it somewhere within that estimate, or even I like this up until 100,000. Again, the other models on the market, 135, 146. I think if you get in here close to 100, I think you're doing pretty good. Let's keep it going. There's 70 lots here, so I'm gonna have to skip some to really get to what I want to talk about. This thing, JLC, a highly attractive and rare limited edition white gold orbital flying tourbillon wristwatch with a sky chart, zodiac calendar, 24-hour display, month indication, warranty presentation box, number 2 of a limited edition of 28 pieces. I talk about JLC pretty much every video because the things that they're doing, the value that they're bringing to the table, compared to even the retail prices, much less where you find them on the secondary market, not not many watches are giving that to you. Not many well-established brands that everybody and their mama has used their movements and have, it has been there for forever. For not forever, but for most of the big houses we know right now, they were around the same time as JLC and they use some of their movements or something. So they're one of the best watchmaking houses out there. And you get things like this. And this is insane. So basically, what's happening here is you have a flying tourbillon, right? Then you have this is a constellation. This is a constellation showing the northern hemisphere, right? And this is showing all the constellations on the northern hemisphere. I don't know. I'm subbing. This tourbillon makes a revolution every. I wrote it down. Where are we going? It's every 23 hours. 56 minutes and 4 seconds. So it's sidereal time. So it's giving you like the actual depiction of what a day is. A day isn't truly 24 hours. So this is giving you a truly accurate spin. So it's a nice, slowly moving tourbillon, which I think is really good because usually you have all these tourbillons that are going super fast and spinning around. This thing is taking its time and it's doing a little ballet around the dial for you. You got your month. You got your month and dates, so everything's lined up there with the constellations, and you'll see everything progress throughout the year as well. It's just a insanely beautiful watch for being as complicated as it is. And this is the best part for you. Estimate 20,000 to 40,000. Current bid is 50,000. These retail at 200. These retail at 200,000 or more. 28 piece limited edition. If you're into something complicated and special, for the price of less than many other complicated watches, you could get something truly special. If you're into astrology, of course, and the night sky and everything, that really helps. Astronomy and astrology, that really, really, really helps. But even if you just want a really dope turb at like under 100, I think that's a great watch. I think you can always send this back to auction and you should always be able to get between 80-ish to 100 out of it just because it's a cool watch. Really, really, really fun piece. I'm interested to see where that lands. I think somebody is going to get a little bit of steal. And let's see if you have anything else. Nice little Havana Journe. This is pretty much around where they're going. 70,000 Swiss francs plus everything. You're going to end up 80s and 90s. Again, we got a couple of days. These bids will go up. So I expect this to go for, retail price. Oh, 5235G, one of my favorite Patek Philippe's. So I'm going to open that one up. And then we're going to talk about this JLC, and I'm going to leave you guys. I want to hit the beach. Let's see. 5235G. This is a Patek Philippe regulator in white gold. One of my favorite Patek Philippe references. Top 5 dead or alive, I say. It's just a really beautiful look. I love annual calendars, right? So you got your month, you got your day, you got your date down there at 6 o'clock. It's also a regulator, which in a Patek Philippe catalog is just very, very rare to find. This picture does not do this dial justice. It's vertically satin finished. Again, super, super gorgeous looking watch. And the way the light plays with it is just insane. Looks good on a brown strap. Looks really good on a blue or gray strap. And this one is at 22,000 Swiss franc right now. So I think that's a really, really good price point. These are holding steady, but you can still snipe them. The problem with the 5235G is they weren't able, or they didn't produce too many of them. So even in my career selling watches at a Patek boutique, 5 or 6 years, never saw one. And one of the larger Patek boutiques in the world had a good inventory, had a lot of pieces come through there. Could never get my hands on a 5235G for a client. And I think a lot of people just never heard of them. So when they finally really showed up on the secondary market, the fan base that I feel should have been there for them wasn't there. But the smart ones, the savvy guys, the people who are listening to me right now, like yourself, they're going in and they're sniping these watches. All right, let's talk about one more JLC, not that JLC. Sorry, I got my tabs all open. We're going to talk about this JLC World Timer, and then we'll just skim through the rest. So this is a JLC Dual Met World Timer, white gold, limited edition of 100 pieces, number 2. A lot of good numbers, a lot of sharp numbers here. And they have this one right now. The bid, I think, is 14,000 Swiss francs. 14,000 Swiss franc. These retail in the 40s. Not for everybody, right? Not for everybody. But if you're somebody with a larger wrist, a Duomet is for you, whether it be this or one of the many other Duomets out there. This is a beautiful world timer, really good layout, 2 power reserves for the 2 barrels there. You could do some research on the Duomet system, but I just think for what you're getting, man, this is under $20,000 US, and I think this will probably end up hammering somewhere in the 20s. Right now, Chrono 24, you're seeing it at 24.5, but I just think the value you can get at JLC's secondary market auctions are just insane, and this is a really, really good watch. And this is something that I would pick up in a heartbeat if I was in an auction buying mood at the moment. This would be one of the watches that I would be targeting. All right, let's keep it going. Got Patek Philippe 5026, a nice little classy Jean, as we say in Philly. Little Cartier there. Ooh, all right, this will be the last one I'll talk about. That's really good. So 5130p, special mention. Current bid 28,000 Swiss francs. I like that. I like all 5130s. I'm a big world timer fan. I like the platinum one because it looks like steel and nobody knows. All right, this is the last piece. That's what I was looking for. All right, so here we go. To wrap us up, we have this Vacheron Constantin 47292 perpetual calendar chronograph. So what I wanted to talk about this, one, this is a beautiful watch. Two, this watch shares a lot in common with a lot of really good perpetual calendar watches out there. And I think that people don't realize the value that you get with certain pieces of certain eras that share the same skeletons, basically, or at least a few parts of the skeleton are the same as others. So let's take this beautiful Vacheron Traditionnel perpetual calendar chronograph. You go over to watchbase.com. This is a great, amazing resource if you want to know about what watches share different movements, what else were made during a certain era and things like that. A lot of great standard information is here. So I pulled up the watch here. I'm going to go to the movement. I'm going to click that movement. Right, it's going to show me the beautiful movement. I'm going to click the base of that movement. So when I click the base, it gives me another movement, which is a VC movement. But then that base is a Lemania 2310, right? So then I click the Lemania 2310. I say, what other calibers that I've used the Lemania 310? And this one is very interesting, these two, because I know if it says CH, it's most likely a Patek Philippe. And that is correct. This same Lemania base movement was using all of these amazing perpetual calendars, right? 5970p, beautiful watch, 3970p, this 3970p, what does it say, Brigade? Or Brigade numeral, Simon Dow. So
connect to the Wi-Fi network. You might want to check the connection settings in the Google Home app.
All right, I don't know if I'll take that out, but we'll figure it out. But anyways, as you can see, all these amazing pieces share the same movement as this watch, as this beautiful perpetual calendar chronograph from Vacheron Constantin. And the best part about it is the price. This one right now, 35,000 Swiss francs. I doubt if it hits the top of this estimate. You see these all the time between the 30s and 50s. I remember selling one of these under 30 when COVID just broke down and we just, doing a fire sale. And somebody called me back and they're like, I can't believe, literally, I'm not joking. They called me back. He was buying his watch with his son. They collect together. And he was like, I just don't understand why this watch is so cheap. It's so beautiful. The movement's so amazing. And I just told him that's just the way of the world sometimes. Sometimes amazing watches, for whatever reason, just fall down to an amazing price where, again, currently, the price of a Panda Daytona precious metal, the price of so many other much inferior watches in terms of complication and what you're getting under the hood. Aesthetics, of course, if you love a Daytona, I love it too. It's a great watch. I have one. But if you're talking about pound for pound, hard to argue with that. Really, really, really hard to argue with that. All right, so the last watch that I want to talk about today, because this is turning into a longer video, is this Audemars Piguet. So this is a Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore for Juan Pablo Montoya. And this is actually, it seems to be the prototype of the Montoya series. So there are many different variations of the Montoya watches. And this one is titanium, blue dial, carbon fiber on the bezel, carbon fiber by the pushers there. this is a big watch, right? This is, I'm pretty sure this is 42 millimeter, big, aggressive watch. I love it so much. But to get a prototype Montoya, I just think is cool. Like if you're an AP fan, this is just a dope watch. This is a really, really fun watch. 28,000 Swiss franc. I don't think it's crazy. I love it up until the estimate because again, when do you get a chance to have a prototype piece of a watch that had an era, right? The offshores of this case shape and architecture and design, they did have a real era and people love them. And I do see people like myself who enjoy seeing these watches release circle back and scooping them up at the prices that you're seeing a lot of them at now. And I think that's just a really, really, really great watch. I think I'm going to end it here for today, guys. This is a little bit of a weekend. Oh gosh, Phillips is messing with me. This is just a little bit of a weekend pop in for you. I want to talk a little bit about the auctions. Remember, if you need any watch advice, feel free to reach out to CQ at TheWatchGuy. Oh my gosh, why do I keep messing this up? If you need watch assistance or any type of advice, reach out to me at CQ. I did it again. Oh my gosh. Go to CQTheWatchGuy.com where you can find me and reach out and talk to me. I can give you assistance. You can check on me to make sure I'm not stuttering anymore. Anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for supporting. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment, let me know if you want me to keep doing auction results and auction previews and then reviews after that. When it's a live auction, I will be going live to talk while things are being hammered down. I think that'll be really fun, but there's going to be a few online auctions before that starts coming up. Anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm CQ the Watch Guy, your partner in collecting time. You know the rules. Buy what you love.